funding and opportunities for rural youth. When people hear the words EU funding, it can sound distant, technical, or even a little intimidating. But for many young people, especially in rural areas, EU funding can be something very practical. It can help turn a local idea into a youth exchange, a volunteering project, a creative initiative, a community action, or a new opportunity that did not exist before. In this video, we will explore what EU funding actually means for rural youth, why the European Union invests in youth projects, which programs are most relevant, how the application process works in basic terms, and what real projects can look like when young people take the lead. The main message is simple. EU funding is not just about forms and deadlines. At its best, it is a tool that helps young people learn, organize, participate, and improve the places where they live. The European Union supports youth because young people are central to the future of communities, economies, and democratic life. But the EU also recognizes that young people matter right now, not only in the future. They are already volunteers, organizers, creators, students, workers, activists, and community members. That is why EU programs support learning, participation, solidarity, inclusion, skills development, and creativity. In official terms, Erasmus Plus supports education, training, youth, and sport. The European Solidarity Corps supports volunteering and solidarity activities. Other programs, like Serve and Creative Europe, can also support youth-related work through civic participation, equality, rights, culture, and creativity. This is especially important in rural areas. Rural young people often have strong ideas and strong ties to their communities, but they may have fewer opportunities nearby. There may be fewer youth centers, fewer cultural spaces, fewer training options, weaker transport, and fewer chances to meet peers from other places. EU funding can help close some of those gaps. So, when the EU funds youth projects, the purpose is not only to spend money. The purpose is to strengthen confidence, skills, participation, and local action. In rural communities, even a relatively small project can have a big impact because it can create something that was missing before. Let us start with Erasmus Plus, because for many youth organizations and youth groups, this is the best known and most practical entry point. Erasmus Plus is the EU program for education, training, youth, and sport for the 2021 to 2027 period. In the youth field, Erasmus Plus is not only about studying abroad. It also supports non-formal learning, youth participation, mobility, and cooperation. That means it can support activities where young people learn through workshops, discussions, group work, creative methods, outdoor learning, and peer exchange. One important opportunity is the youth exchange. In a youth exchange, groups of young people from different countries meet, usually around a shared theme. That theme could be rural development, mental health, climate action, media literacy, local culture, entrepreneurship, or active citizenship. The point is not classroom teaching. The point is learning by doing, learning together, and building connections. Another important action is youth participation activities. These projects support youth-led participation in democratic life. In a rural setting, that could mean young people designing local consultations, proposing improvements for public spaces, creating dialogue with local authorities, running community campaigns, or developing new ways for youth voices to be heard. Erasmus Plus also supports mobility and training for youth workers. This matters because strong youth organizations need strong youth workers. When youth workers improve their methods, local young people usually benefit as well. So, if your project idea is about learning, connecting, participation, or community-based non-formal education, Erasmus Plus is often the first program to explore. The second major program to know is the European Solidarity Corps, often called EACEA. This program is built around solidarity. In other words, it supports activities that respond to real needs in communities. Many people know the European Solidarity Corps because of volunteering opportunities. But for rural youth, there is another very interesting option, the Solidarity Project. This is a local initiative created by young people themselves. According to the official rules, at least 5 young people can work together on a project that lasts between 2 and 12 months. as long as they are registered in the European Solidarity Corps portal. This format is especially exciting for villages and small towns because it is rooted in local action. A solidarity project could focus on intergenerational work, mental health awareness, renovating a community space, environmental action, inclusion of isolated young people, local cultural revival, peer support, or another need that is clearly visible in daily life. The spirit of the program is simple. If young people see a problem and are willing to work together for the common good, the project can become more than just a good intention. It can become a funded community action. Not every youth project will fit Erasmus Plus or the European Solidarity Corps, so it is useful to know a few additional programs. One of them is SERVE, the Citizens' Equality, Rights and Values Program. This program is especially relevant for organizations working on rights, equality, democratic participation, anti-discrimination, and citizen engagement. For youth NGOs, SERVE can be useful when the project is strongly focused on participation, social inclusion, equality, citizenship, or community dialogue. It is often more organization-based than youth exchange-based, but it can still be highly relevant. Another program is Creative Europe. This program supports the cultural and creative sectors. If a rural youth organization works with storytelling, heritage, literature, music, visual culture, festivals, or creative cooperation, Creative Europe may open the door to larger cultural partnerships and cross-border collaboration. Finally, for projects connected to local rural regeneration, entrepreneurship, or territorial development, it is worth paying attention to the Common Agricultural Policy and LEADER approaches. These are not always the first programs youth groups look at, but they are highly relevant when the goal is to improve life in rural areas through bottom-up local action. A common question is this: who can actually apply? The answer depends on the program, but usually the applicants are organizations, associations, NGOs, public bodies, partnerships, and in some cases, informal groups or youth-led groups working under the relevant program rules. What gets funded also depends on the action, but there is a clear pattern. EU programs support activities that create learning, participation, inclusion, solidarity, creativity, or community benefit. That can include youth exchanges, local events, workshops, volunteering actions, participation campaigns, cultural cooperation, training, mentoring, awareness activities, and community-based projects. What matters most is not whether an idea sounds grand. What matters is whether the project responds to a real need, involves the right people, uses realistic methods, and can create meaningful results. The first step is always to identify a real local need. Start with the question, what is missing, difficult, or underdeveloped in our community? Maybe there is no youth space. Maybe young people feel invisible in local decision-making. Maybe there is potential for cultural activities, green action, local media, or peer support, but nobody has yet built the structure. The second step is to match the idea to the right program. If it is about non-formal learning and mobility, Erasmus Plus may fit. If it is a local solidarity action, the European Solidarity Corps may fit. If it is about rights and participation, SERVE may fit. If it is a culture-led cooperation idea, Creative Europe may fit. Basic steps in the application process. So, after the first step, identify a real local need, and the second step, to match the idea to the right program, the third step is to build a team. Even a small project needs clear roles, communication, and commitment. The fourth step is to define the project clearly. What will happen, who will take part, what results are expected, and how will the community benefit? The fifth step is to read the official call carefully. This is where many weak applications fail. The rules matter. Eligibility matters. Deadlines matter. The good news is that the official program documents explain what applicants need to know. And finally, the sixth step is to submit a realistic and well-structured application. Clarity beats complexity almost every time. A focused, well-grounded project is usually stronger than an overambitious one. To finish, it helps to remember that these opportunities are real. Official EU CAP network examples show rural youth participation projects that involved hundreds of young people, created youth spaces, encouraged community-led tourism, and helped young people shape the future of their own region. These examples show that rural youth are not too small, too remote, or too late to act. On the contrary, rural communities can be ideal places for meaningful projects because the local impact is often visible, personal, and immediate. So, if you are a young person, a youth worker, or part of a rural organization, think about the needs around you. Think about the strengths already present in your community. Think about what could change if one good idea had the right support. That is where EU funding becomes real, not as an abstract system, but as a practical opportunity to create learning, solidarity, creativity, and change where it matters most. Where to find EU opportunities for youth. So, where do you actually find these opportunities? The good news is simple. You do not need special access. Most EU calls are public, free to explore, and updated regularly online. What you need is to know where to look and to check these sources from time to time. For Erasmus+, the main place is your national agency and the official Erasmus+ website. Calls are usually open several times per year, often around February, May, and October. These deadlines repeat every year, so once you learn the cycle, it becomes easier to plan. For the European Solidarity Corps, opportunities are published on the European Youth Portal. You can find volunteering activities and also apply for solidarity projects there. Calls are usually open once per year for projects, but volunteering opportunities are available all the time. For SERVE, the Citizens, Equality, Rights and Values program, calls are published on the EU Funding and Tenders portal. These calls usually open between December and April, depending on the topic. They are more detailed, but very important for projects on participation, rights, and inclusion. Creative Europe calls are also published on the same EU portal. They usually open once per year, often between December and March. If your idea is cultural, creative, or related to storytelling, heritage, or arts, this is a key program to follow. ERBACT and similar programs open calls less frequently, not every year, but when they do, they focus on cities and communities working together. It is important to follow their official website and social media because these calls are highly competitive and time-limited. One important habit is to follow the right channels. Follow your national agency, local NGOs, municipalities, and youth organizations on social media. Subscribe to newsletters. Join WhatsApp or Facebook groups where opportunities are shared. Information often comes through networks, not only websites. Another tip is to stay connected locally. Many municipalities and organizations already participate in these programs. Ask them, visit them, talk to youth workers. Sometimes the easiest way to join a project is not to start alone, but to join something that already exists. Opportunities are there, and they come back every year. The key is to stay informed, stay connected, and stay curious. When you know where to look, you are already one step ahead. And when the right call opens, you will be ready to act. This is your moment. Growing up in a rural area is not a limitation. It is your strength. You know your community, you see what is missing, and you understand what could be better. That perspective is powerful. Change does not always start in big cities. It often starts in small places, with people who care enough to act. Look around you. Every empty space, every forgotten idea, every challenge in your village or town can become an opportunity. What if you created a youth space, a cultural event, a local initiative, or a project that connects people? What if you are the one who brings new energy into your community? You are not alone in this. Across Europe, thousands of young people are already taking action, creating projects, meeting others, learning new skills, and improving their communities. They started exactly where you are now, with an idea, a question, or a simple desire to do something meaningful. Programs like Erasmus+, SERVE, Creative Europe, and ERBACT are not distant or unreachable. They are tools made for you. They exist to support your ideas, your learning, your creativity, and your participation. They can help you travel, connect, learn, and build something real. You do not need to be perfect, and you do not need to have everything figured out. What matters is to start. Talk to your friends, connect with local organizations, reach out to youth workers, explore opportunities online. Every project begins with a small step, a conversation, or a simple idea written down. Your community needs your voice. Rural areas need young people who are active, who care, who imagine something more. When you take initiative, you are not only changing your own path, you are creating opportunities for others as well. You become part of something bigger. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for someone else to lead. You can be that person. You can create, organize, connect, and inspire. The possibilities are already there, and the support exists. What matters is your decision to take the first step. Start where you are. Use what you have. Connect with others and build something that matters. Your ideas can travel beyond your village. Your impact can reach further than you imagine. The future of your community is not somewhere else. It begins with you.
Now let's check if you got the main point. Multiple choice questions. 1. What is the main purpose of EU funding for youth and rural communities? A. To support public interest goals such as inclusion, learning, participation, and local development. B. To fund only private business profits in large cities. C. To replace all national education and youth systems. D. To support only infrastructure projects with no social impact. What do you think? Take 30 seconds to think. The correct answer is 1. A. To support public interest goals such as inclusion, learning, participation, and local development. Let's move to the next question. 2. Which pair includes two important EU programs relevant to rural youth? A. Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps. B. NATO Youth and Schengen Fund. C. Horizon Europe and Eurostat Census Office. D. Creative Tax Scheme and Rural Customs Facility. This one is easy one. Take 30 seconds to think. The correct answer is 2. A. Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps. Next question is 3. Who can usually apply for EU funding, depending on the program and action? A. Only national ministries. B. Only universities in capital cities. C. NGOs, schools, municipalities, youth groups, and, in some cases, informal groups of young people. D. Only private companies with more than 500 employees. Think again, what should be correct answer here? The answer is 3. C. NGOs, schools, municipalities, youth groups, and, in some cases, informal groups of young people. And the last question, to see if you understand everything, is 4. What is one of the basic steps in preparing an EU funding application? A. Submitting a blank form first and writing the project later. B. Identifying a real need, choosing the right program, and preparing activities and budget. C. Avoiding partnerships and skipping deadlines. D. Applying to every open call with the same text. Take 30 seconds and say. The correct answer is 4. B. Identifying a real need, choosing the right program, and preparing activities and budget. Thank you so much for watching this module. We really hope that the information that we shared with you can help you in your future actions. Good luck!